The word for today is Homelite. Super XL to be exact. Hey guys, how you doing? Welcome back to the channel. In all seriousness, I'd honestly forgot I had this saw here. Belongs to a simple man's buddy. I'd brought some saws back home with me while we were on vacation last spring. And if you guys remember, the whole hurricane here in the mountains deal kind of clobbered my saw shack. I've just gotten it back together, but just found out this morning that the roof is pouring. So I'm going to have to put a new roof on it, which is not going to cost a lot because the building's really small, so I'm not really too worried about it. But anyway, they were not in any hurry on this at all. He honestly told me to wait and bring it back when I came back down to visit. There was two different saws. I was to keep one. This was the better looking of the two, and it had a service tag on it, so that's the one we're going to repair and take back. Seems to have adequate compression enough to run. These things are not compression monsters from the factory anyway, but I think before I do anything we will get something and pull the muffler off and have a peek in the cylinder and make sure that I'm not going to dig around and get a carburetor and rebuild it and put on a saw that's no good. I like taking all these old saws apart by hand. It takes a lot longer, but this gives you a feel for how things are. Now if it was an old McCulloch or something, a 1010, I know about what everything is on those. I can yank one apart just about a mere matter of minutes. I've done a few of these, like a complete disassemble, but not enough to where I could yank the whole saw down to its bare bones, you know, in 20 minutes or something. I'm sure I could come close to that, but you've got your lines for your oiler and everything that run on them. Just getting that, they take a little longer. But don't run off. All we're going to do is yank the muffler, and there should be another bolt. There's a big old hole, so I'm assuming that's it. Hopefully we got one that looks good enough here to get going. I do have a couple more of these saws here, but I would assume fix this one. Well, muffler looks clean inside for what this is. We'll just have to see, guys. We will separate that muffler and blow it out. So far, so good. I've got stuff falling everywhere. I want my video light, one of them. So we can get that up a little more. So far, it's looking pretty good. We'll have to have a better look and peek in at the cylinder, but I think she's going to be alright, guys. Yeah, she still works. I knocked my camera off of the tripod. It fell about 4 feet into the floor and bounced. It's kind of an older camera, but don't really want to buy another new one just yet. They're not very cheap, and I'm just that person that don't like videoing with the phone. Some of these phones, new ones, have really good high quality video though, but DSLR camera is a little more versatile on what you can do though. But muffler, got it cleaned up, and the screen of it, really, you can see all the way through it. Really wasn't bad at all. Cylinder, I inspected it a little further. Almost looked immaculate, so if it's got good spark, should have a good runner on our hands here. Alrighty, guys. If you had one of these apart, I'm trying to figure out how exactly to put it back. It has a little plate, goes your big shell first, and then there's a little plate that actually clamps it onto the exhaust port. Because there's no gasket. You could probably put some high temp RTV if you really wanted to, but that's not going to leak, I don't think. That's just the way they came. That's, you know, the way they are. But you have that little plate, then you have a baffle, then you have your screen, then you have your outer shell. And that's a lot of travel through there, a lot of restriction, and these things are still like stupid loud, and a lot of it's a big old exhaust port. But I guess the next thing we're going to do is get us a carb and what we need and get it disassembled. I've had the ultrasonic cleaner, I just changed it out. I honestly had to go in and change because of dump purple power or super clean or whatever was in it all down my shirt. So it was a fun time. We got her filled back up and heating up though. So I'll bring you guys back when we're disassembling the car. We got lucky. And someone has already put a new fuel line and strainer in this. Kind of wonder why they gave up on it. Like I said, the carb was missing. Pulled the carb off of another saw that someone had been into, and they had put it back together without the plate. But I have a couple of these here, different ones. This one actually has a fat fuel line. Some of them have that. We do have one here that has that same inlet that's on the saw we're fooling with, and appears to be the same linkages and layout and the same carburetor. So hopefully between the three, I have buckets of these things laying around, so I don't really have any worries about getting a carburetor on it. And the reeds are good. Make a duck call out of them. If your reeds will make that sound good. Anyway, guys, we'll get to yanking this carburetor apart. Most of you know this. I knew it too. These saws can have multiple different carburetors. There's actually two different Tillot's and HS carburetors, which is what we have here on the left, which is what I ordered rebuild kits for. What we have on the right is the carburetor that I had here, and stripped down, ultrasonic cleaned. It looks real nice. She is good to go, but unfortunately this one was a Walbro SDC, and I did not have a rebuild kit here for that. So I usually keep those, but I'll probably put it in somebody's 1010 or something, or one of these. We found us a Tillot's and HS. Wasn't hard to do. I have a pile of old carburetors. We got it cleaned up, got the new kit in it, and what was funny, I videoed stripping that other carb down, getting it prepped clean, and was about to video reassembling it, and lo and behold, had the wrong kit. So I just done this off camera. Wasn't really a how-to anyway. It was just bringing an old saw back to life. So the next thing I'm going to do is get it all situated in the carb box and give you a look at how all that goes. Alrighty guys, pretty self-explanatory. You got your bracket, your two bolts go through, you got a gasket, your reed block, and then there's another gasket which was stuck to the handle on these. Normally they are, and your throttle again, it just kind of slides in. You got a grommet over here that's going to push in over your adjustment screws. And what I wanted to really show is over here. This originally, I'm assuming this saw originally had an SDC carb, which I'm assuming maybe later on they used. And I swear I think some of these could have had a form of a Zama. Don't quote me on that, I'm probably wrong, but this is an old choke rod off of an older saw. I had to dig around and find. It's metal. The newer ones are plastic. And they all have this little bitty cotter pin that slides in. Pretty simple setup, but I hope I've got some fuel. I swear I don't know that I do, but if so, we're going to try to see if this thing will bust off. And I have already verified that it has spark. Honestly, I think the issue with the saw was it had a brand new spark plug in it that had no gap at all. Yeah, that could have been it. Maybe, maybe not. Who knows? Saw may have other issues when we get it going, but the cylinder looks good, and we'll just have to see. Hopefully she'll bust off and run. Now she is alive. It's a little rich, I need to clean on it a little bit, but she is up and running. Just got the switch ain't shocking me 9 times out of 10. Those metal switches. That thing probably just needs ran, to be honest with you. It actually is sounding pretty good, but the cylinder and everything looked good in it. The carb rebuilt good. Had a new fuel line and strainer in it. New plug in it. She's sounding better and better as she runs. Anyway, guys, there is another one brought back from the dead. Get this cleaned up and get it ready to go home shortly. Y'all have a good one.